Hey, what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here, and yes, we are back with another Movie Phantom's horror review. Double feature. Tonight, we got really two... You all right there? They got a little bit on me on that one, my lands. We got two movies that are so far on the opposite ends of the spectrum, it's ridiculous. The first one I do not own a physical copy of, but the movie is Doom. Yes. And we're also doing Rosemary's Baby. So there we go. Now, let's go Doom first. 2005, I believe. It is based on the very popular video game of the same name. And it stars The Rock. Basically, these Marines go to, I think it's one, I can't remember if it's actually Mars or if it's one of the moons of Mars. I know in the video game it's one of the moons of Mars. I really didn't give a shit when I was watching the movie. To pay attention to the text at the bottom. I know, horrible reviewer, I'm sorry. But they, basically, something they dug up is infecting all the colonists, and it's kind of mutating them into like these fucking beasts of things. And the Marines gotta go up there and fucking wipe them out. The first time I see this, I saw this movie. I worked at the theater, and it, we got it. And I was pumped, because I was a huge fan of the video games. Like, I love the video games. And I was a huge fan of The Rock. Like, I was just like, fuck yeah. Like, how could this bomb? Like, really, how could it just... And so I watched it, and I was just like, son of a bitch, this movie fucking sucks. And I literally haven't watched it since then. Like, this is the first time I've watched it since 2005. So, fucking 10 years. God damn, that's a long time. I just now put that together in my head that it's been 10 years since I've seen that movie. Or give or take. I think it came out during summertime. But anyways, doesn't matter. So anyways, yeah, I watched it first time, just thought it fucking blew, and that was the end of it. So, came across it, and I was like, alright, let's watch it again. Let's make it a part of the movie, I'm going to be reviewing. So, watched it again. And now you did not watch this with me. No. You chose to pass on this one. I will say this. I feel like I was probably a little too hard on it the first time. Now, I'm not saying by any means like this is a great movie. It's not. It's still a bad fucking movie. It's just not as bad as I was initially saying. I'm gonna break it up into pros and cons, if you will. The pros. I think initially I was very. I don't know. Pros. I know I got a couple there. Well, I mean, the one thing I kind of like is they do try to establish some sort of I don't know, like the group, the Marine. They try to give them each different personalities. It reminds me a lot of like either Predator or Aliens, or even Alien for that fact, I guess. But just the fact that they're it's a group of guys, and they clearly try to distinguish them. Like they got different personalities. The problem is, going into this, you knew they're all going to pretty much get wiped out. You knew right off the bat the two main characters, which is Carl Urban and The Rock. So it's like you didn't even need the other ones. It's just like, I don't know. So it seemed a little unnecessary, and it does seem like it takes a while to actually get into it. But whereas like Alien, where it takes like 45 fucking minutes before like an alien pops out, that was good. Like that actually, it just had good acting and everything else. And this one really doesn't. This is just, man, before I started doing this video, I was like, I got some good things to say about Doom before I slam it, but I'm really grasping at straws here. The bad. Okay, CGI is just fucking horrible. The writing is just kind of, you don't really feel anything for any of the characters. Initially, and I will say this, and this is why I did kind of change on this a little bit, but when I watched it back in 2005, so 10 years ago, a Phantom that was, 10 years younger, I was very typical, I guess, of the region. In the fact that, like, I didn't want to see The Rock do anything other than be The Rock. And I mean that by, and I'm going to drop some spoilers because it has been over 10 years. Toward the end of the movie, he actually, he kind of loses his shit. Like, initially, you think he's the hero. Like, he's the main character. He's the fucking Rock. Like, why would he, be anything but the hero of the movie? And he takes a villainous turn in this. And the story basically focuses more on Carl Urban. And I just remember, like, being pissed about that as a young guy. I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't give a fuck about Carl Urban. I don't know who the fuck Carl Urban was at the time. Or I may have, I didn't give a shit, you know, and I was just like, man, fuck him. So I was automatically just like pissed at the fact that like The Rock wasn't the main guy and the fact that he's getting killed or whatever. And I don't know, it was just, that was part of it. But now I'm looking back, I'm like, you know what? Kind of a bold move, and actually I would go on to read, I guess they offered him the role of the main guy, and he turned it down. He wanted to play this character, who, you know, he does the whole like, basically what happens is they go up there and then he starts taking it a little too seriously. Like, you know, it's like, you know, exterminate everybody. Just eradicate anybody, you know, who can possibly be infected. And of course, at that point, he's just killing like innocent women, children, and, you know, people, whatever the case may be. Ordering his men to do the same thing and everything. So, you know, it was one of those things where it's like, as a kid, I guess I wasn't a kid then, I would have been 19. But I was like, no, Rock. I wanted to see you drop, you know, people's elbow and the rock bottom and give us the eyebrow and go out on a happy ending. So, but, you know, as an actor, I can understand. I'm like, well, yeah, he was tired of playing that kind of character. He tried something different. And even though at the time I didn't really appreciate it, watching it now, I'm like, all right, I'm digging it. The problem is, it was just the writing itself. Because, I mean, I think in the hands of, you know, a good writer, you know, that kind of, you know, work, you know, that kind of material you could work with. Oh, distract me over here. We're doing these videos really late, by the way. We've had a busy week or day today, too. So
we watched our 2 movies.
We did watch 2 movies. Went to the theater, so. But anyways, back to Doom. So yeah, no, that's, you know, so, you know, The Rock, you know, takes his old villain's turn. Okay, I already said CGI sucked balls. The direction was just all over the fucking place. Like, it was not scary. That was the other thing. I mean, even, like, cheap scares were just ridiculous here. Like, you know, to be, I remember thinking, like, the film was way too dark. And, okay, it just seemed like, you know, a lot of scenes was just them fighting and shooting in the dark, and there's nothing there anyways. And it's like, where are you shooting at? I can't tell anyways. Let's just get to the fucking, the one scene that just really kills me. The fucking first-person shooter mode, where basically it turns into the video game, where Carl Urban now, he injects himself with the virus? Or his sister does. Sister played by Rosemary Pike, which did an awesome job this past year in Gone Girl. And you're like, oh wow, humble beginnings, I guess. So, but yeah, no, I was shocked about that. But anyways, so they inject him with the virus, but somehow has no other effect on him other than the fact, because I mean, that's the thing they realize is like, only certain people get infected and certain people don't. So how they even figured he would not get, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, we're going to inject him with this shit. It could turn into a, you know, bloodthirsty fucking alien or whatever. Well, could get lucky and he won't. And they hit him and hey, they got lucky with it. And so he goes like all super soldier for a second. And he's all coked up pretty much. And the camera goes to his, you know, POV. But then the gun's in front. So, and literally it just looks like the video game. And I get it. They're like, it was almost like, we got to put that scene in there. Because I mean, this is what you see in the video game. We got to do that. We got to pay tribute. And I don't know. I mean, I couldn't say if the movie didn't come out yet. And I heard they were going to do that shot. I can't say that I would argue against it because I'm like, well, we gotta try it, I guess. But having seen it now, I'm like, no, that was fucking shit. And it's so ridiculous. It did feel like a video game for a moment. It felt like literally you're playing like a bad video game, like a level 1 in a video game, because it's like nothing's really challenging popping out at him at first. Just people stumbling around hallways, and he's just like, oh, bam, 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 bam. Oh, someone there, bam, 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 bam. It was just so ridiculous. At one point, he gets a chainsaw, and he's fighting the. One of the guys had like a robotic bottom part, or like a robotic wheelchair. I don't want to say motorized, this thing was like fucking robotic for sure. But somehow that dude gets infected, so he's just like a pit bull, like an alien pit bull. But like its torso, like, you know, because the legs are a robot. And anyways, he's fighting this thing with a chainsaw, and it just looks so ridiculous. Like, you're just like, and I don't know. It was just one of those things that must have looked awesome on paper until you actually see it, and you're just like, fuck, this is just cheesy and corny. Carl Urban, I'll say right now, he's done some really good movies. I don't think he's that great of an actor, and this is evidence A right here. Like, The Rock, I think, did decent. The shit he's saying out of his mouth sounds ridiculous, but he's giving it his all. Like, he's trying to do the best he can with this material. Whereas Carl Urban, I don't think has that ability, and literally, you can just tell by watching it. It was just like, I don't know, it was embarrassing to watch, you know. Yeah, the fact that they were trying to make, you know, planned on doing, like, you know, a sequel or whatever, and it didn't happen because this one, I think this one made its money back, but it just got shit on hardcore, and they're like, nope, I'm walking away. It felt, like I said, it had like an alien feel to it, and the fact that like in the game they were demons from hell, like that was what the villains of Doom were. They were like Satan's minions that came through like a gateway, and you gotta fucking take them down. And then here they just change like a virus, and I'm like, what? Why? Like that's not even it at all. And I know you're thinking like, well, they're trying something different. It's a movie. It's not like a video game. But at the same time, it's like, well, you had that perceived, that, you basically had the idea in your mind that it was going to be like the video game, and then they just throw this virus thing at you, which has nothing to do with the, at all. Like, to me, I think it'd be scary to fight the forces of hell than, like, something that's alive and breathe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just seems like, how do you kill a demon? How do you kill a demon anyways? You can't. But something that, breathing, yeah, sure, it's a mutated version of an alien, but it's like, yeah, you can kill it. Ends it. Yeah, so I don't know what to say. I mean, you had all these characters that were just like stock characters, like the stereotypes. You had like the one guy I thought was like my favorite character of the bunch, and he actually stood out the most, was like the sleazy fucking dude, and I forget what his name was. Porter, or I don't know, it was something like that. He just had his hair slicked back, and he was just like the sleaziest skeezer ever. But I don't know. Like I will say, all the Marines they have there, he's my favorite one. So yeah, but then of course it comes down to the big battle between The Rock and Carl Urban, and I don't know. It was garbage from there. It was just literally like it was one of those movies that literally it was too long to begin with. It's like almost over 2 hours, and I'm just like, really? Could we not wrap this up in like 87 minutes? Like, it just seems like it should have been a lot shorter. Like I said, it seemed like a lot of stuff was just like they were borrowing from like better sci-fi movies, sci-fi horror movies. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not recommending this at all unless if you were just a hardcore fucking Doom fan. If you're a hardcore Doom fan or a hardcore Rock fan, like if you're a completist, like you gotta have every single thing that The Rock has done, sure, check it out. I'm just saying, for me personally, you don't waste your time. I'm just saying, don't waste your time. So, I actually, when I sat down, I was like, I got some positive things to say about it. Like, there were some, but there really is, like, when I'm on the spot and I'm tired, I got nothing good to say about this movie. It was just, it was brutal. It was brutal. It wasn't a hard watch this time around. I felt like the last time, it felt like it was just like, oh, this movie won't fucking end. I guess here, because I knew I was going to be doing a review for it and whatnot, and the few things that did kind of perk up, like I said, seeing Rosamund Pike and, I guess the Rock's performance came across a little better, but in fact, I knew it was shit going in, so maybe that kind of helped raise it up a little bit. Like, I was like, well, it's not complete shit, so. But yeah, the Doom, not feeling it. You can probably pass on this, so. You did a good thing. You sat out on it, and you didn't miss much, so. So there we go. That's my horrible review of Doom. Sorry it couldn't be much better. Actually, I watched it earlier in the week, and yeah, it's late today, but you're going to get a better review here, hopefully. We just got on watching it. Rosemary's Baby. Bam. Sweetie, go ahead and give us your quick rundown. Basically what it is.
No, I'll say it.
Alright, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Basically, these couples, they're like newlyweds or something like that, right?
Oh,
they move in to New York City, and they meet these old people next door, which they're witches. Mm-hmm. And so they insert her with Satan's baby. And then, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, there it is. What'd you think of it?
That was okay.
Okay. A little too long, a little too 1968 for you?
Yeah. She had like horrible outfits. They're freaking ugly.
Kills me. So, overall, you're just saying okay?
Yeah.
Alright. Anything else to add to it? I mean, you sit down and watch it all, and that's the thing. I can always tell when she's interested in the movie, because when she has to get up and do something, whether it's like, cook or, or use the restroom or whatever, she'll be like, pause it or don't. Like, that's how you can tell. And she had me pause this for her twice. Or 3 times. So, yeah, you had to be a little interested in it when you was watching it. No?
A little bit.
Just a little bit?
Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby, basically, a young couple move into this New York apartment building.
That's what I just said.
I know. I'm reiterating it. And then basically, they're trying to get pregnant, and when she gets pregnant, it's under weird fucking circumstances, and she doesn't know if she's going crazy or if, what's happening is real or, whatever the case may be. Let me just first off say this is one of the best movies ever. Like, I fucking love this movie. In fact, I was very leery of watching it early on, and I'll tell you why. There was always 3 movies that I was always told, like, in the late 60s, early 70s, even though Omen is a little bit later. Anyway, 60s, 70s. Like, the 3 big movies that dealt with Satan or whatever was The Omen, The Exorcist, and Rosemary's Baby. And I watched The Omen. I fucking love The Omen. Like, that's just one of my favorite movies of all time. It's fucking brilliant. But then when I watched The Exorcist, it was so hyped up, and we're going back to episode 1, so you ever watch my review on that, go back there. But it was so hyped up, and I was just like, I don't get it. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't get the hype. This is not great. And over time, I have bumped The Exorcist up a little bit. I still think it's extremely overhyped. But at the same time, I think it's a very well-crafted film. Extremely well acted. I mean, above and beyond. I mean, it really is like it's a great piece of cinema. It just, I don't really care much for the story, I guess, or just, I don't know. As a horror film, it just doesn't resonate with me. Before I watched this movie, I always heard, and I've heard this, since, and everything else, that it's the one horror movie that has no horror in it, and that worried me. I was like, oh, really? Like a horror movie? There's no horror in it? And then, so then of course on top of that, it was like considered like one of the best movies of all time. Like, if you're talking about a movie of like Satan's Kid, this is it, So I was like, oh, okay, all this hype. And then I watched it, and oh my fucking God, brilliant. And it's true, there's not really any horror at all. It's all psychological. But the performances, the direction, it flows so, it flows, so smoothly. It's perfect. It really is like, it's a perfect film. The one thing I really dug about it is, and that's the thing, a lot of reviews I saw before, they all kind of said the same thing. They're like, as you're watching it, you don't know if she's going crazy or if it's what's happening is real or whatever. But, like, I knew from the beginning, like, I mean, maybe it's like, heard review or whatever, but I was like, no, this is all real. Like, we know she's having Satan's baby. So I guess I got to kind of see it from, I guess, with that perspective. Like, I already know this deal. Because in the movie, they don't really mention the fact that it's going to be, I guess, that Satan's baby. She thinks more or less like the baby's going to be sacrificed. Because even though, and I'm not sure, they never really specify if they are or not, but she finds out, like, through a book or whatever, that they may be witches, next door. But they definitely have more in common with Satanists than they do witches. So I'm going to start calling them Satanists from here on out. Just, But see, at the time, you don't know that. So you think, like, I guess you're watching for the very first time. You think, well, maybe they're going to take the baby to sacrifice. Like, they are Satanists, regardless. They're going to take the baby to sacrifice it or whatever. But I knew they weren't. Like, I knew from the beginning, like, this is her baby, and it's, Satan's, love child, if you will, the Antichrist. So, I don't know, like, I knew going into it, like, no, she's definitely not crazy. But still, yeah, it's the performance that she gives, and I just love, I love all of it. Like, I can't go any more than that. It's just perfectly laid out. The scene where, because I love the husband at first, like how the husband initially, whenever she tells him, like, the neighbors are going to come over, we're coming over, and, or we're going to their house for dinner, and the husband's just like, we're not doing that. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get too chummy with these people. Then they go over there, and there's a scene where she's doing dishes. And with the wife. The women are in there doing dishes. It's after they had a great meal. They're pounding around or whatever. And the husbands are in the other room. And I just love the shot, because the shot, it shows, Mia Farrow, Rosemary, looking into the room, and you just see that cigar smoke rolling, or cigarette smoke, or whatever. And if you've already seen the movie, you know now the deal is being made. Like, they're letting him in, like, hey, and I'm not sure how the conversation went down, but it was probably something like, hey, we're Satanists, you're a struggling actor, we can help you out if you help us out. Let us knock up your wife, and we'll take the kid. Now, probably more elegant than that, but it was just the fact that it's like, the deal's being made in there. And especially on the second time you watch it, when you know that's what's going down, it really is a great shot. Like, I just love that whole, because it just has this ominous feel, yet there's nothing ominous about the shot at all. Like, it's just a doorway with some smoke. That's it. like faint smoke too, like not even like over heavy. It's like this two people in there smoking, talking, and yet there's something about that scene that is just so ominous. And that's another thing that Roman Polanski did great in this movie is he makes, from her perspective, everything seems more sinister, more ominous, more threatening. But in reality, it's the complete opposite. Like, and especially now they have no intentions on hurting her. Like, why was it? They want the baby. I mean, they didn't care less about her. Like, they're trying to let her, like, they try to fake her, kind of fake her out, let her think, like, maybe she lost the baby or whatever during childbirth. But they have no, wishes to kill her or her husband. You play ball, you're good. But, with that being said, these are the most ordinary fucking people ever. Like, they really are just, like, normal people. Even the conversations they're having, like, while they're sitting around or whatever, it just seems very bland, And I love that. Like, that's what I love about it. Just because, you would think, in all honesty, if this was to really happen, if Satan was to, try to, seed a spawn here in, our world, it's not going to be all, black robes and, every second they're going to be like, we're just doing Satan. No, it's like they're normal people. They're normal people playing for the other team. That's all it is. And I love that because it just seems like there's a lot of scenes. I guess there's just a lot of scenes where it's just like she's freaking out. But when you watch that second time, when you know how it's going to end and everything else, and you watch it for that second time, it's just like, it's nothing. Like, she's freaking out over nothing. But, then again, it's understandable why she's freaking out because, her hormones are definitely out of whack. She's having this baby. Her husband definitely gets colder toward her. Like, and that's just, like, even after watching, 2, 3, 4 times, you're just like, well, that guy's like, for an actor, you think he'd act a little more concerned, like a concerned husband/father, and he doesn't. He just acts like a complete prick. But, no, oh, man, I don't know what to say, like, literally, because, it is late. I do apologize for that. But I don't know what to say that haven't already been said. Like, this movie hits every note perfectly. I love the fact, like I said, how this has an ominous, sinister feel.
I hate the ending.
You hate the ending. Now, see, I love the ending because that, to me,
it would have been better if they showed the baby and then the credits. That would have been better.
So you wanted to see it. I'm okay with not seeing it. But I love that aspect of it. The fact that she discovers, like, because that's the weird scene. The one scene that is this kind of woohoo is the night that she gets fucked by Satan because she starts having this dream, and just like in real dreams, it's just all over the place. One moment she's on a boat, or one moment she's on a mattress in the middle of the ocean, then she's on a boat, and then she's back in the living room, and then she's back on the boat, and it just kind of jumps around all over the place. And Satan shows up and then fucks the shit out of her. And she claims rape. The next morning she's like, I dreamt I was raped last night. She wasn't raped. She was not struggling at all. She was down. She was into it. Fucking calling rape out. Come on. Trying to ruin Satan's good image there. But no, it is a very bizarre fucking scene. And I guess maybe if you were watching it, maybe you'd be like, it was a dream. But come on, you couldn't have been that naive not to be like, I don't know if this is real or not. No, clearly it's real. But I just love that, whole setup there. So anyway, she goes through all that. So, at this point now she realizes these are Satanists. That, Satan did knock her up. That is, it's her child. But it's still her child, and I love that. Like, no matter what, she's not going to turn against her son. And the very last scene where she walks up to the crib. Awesome crib, by the way. We get that crib if we ever have a kid. Just covered in black, upside down crucifix. Oh yes, I can see it already. But she walks up to it, and of course one of the Satanists is being a bitch to her, but they're like, go sit down, it's his mother, Adrian's mother. And she starts fucking rocking it. And it's just like, I don't know, like no matter what, it's that unconditional love between a mother and her baby. Even though the baby is the spawn of Satan, she's still there, and she's still, and I'm like, to me, that's a perfect ending. Like, I love that. Like, I don't know, that makes you feel warm inside. Like, I know that sounds weird to say, but I don't know, I like that. It's just kind of it's twisted. I will totally agree, but at the same time, it's like, no, it's a happy ending. It's about as happy as you're gonna get under circumstances of being raped by Satan. So, acting all around is great. In fact, I believe Minnie Cavasets, is that their name? Yeah, the neighbors, the woman, I believe she won an Oscar for this. I'm sure it has it on here actually. Boom, there it is, Ruth Gordon. Didn't even know her name. Ruth Gordon won Best Supporting Actress here. So there you go. That's score 1 for the horror movie guys right there, because we rarely get Oscars, so we'll take them when we can get them. So yeah, nominated and won, and and she does a great job. Like I said, they actually all do. There's not really any lame performances. It's all fucking top notch. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh yeah. Now here's the one thing that did shock me back when I did watch it for the very first time, because I am a big horror movie guy. We all have seen William Castle movies, and more importantly, you've seen the trailers to William Castle movies. And it was always just him, smoking a cigar, and he was always, telling you about the new movie coming out and whatever gimmick or whatever was, attached to it. So the first time I'm watching this movie, and the credit pops up, produced by William Castle, I was like, wait, what? Like, this is a legit movie. And I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to downplay any movies he's ever done before that, but let's face it, in the realm of horror, this is definitely high-end fucking shit, and don't get me wrong, I will still put, Phantasm and Evil Dead and, whatever above, this movie right here. But you know what I'm saying, production value, and I guess it's status in Hollywood, this is about as A-list as you can get right here. So to see William Castle's name attached to it threw me off. And then, of course, he has this awesome cameo there. There's a scene where she's on the phone. At this point, she's already kind of, she don't know who to trust. She's kind of already going batshit crazy. And she's on the phone, and of course, dude's there, and he's standing right there in front of it. So when she looks up, it looks like he's kind of blocking her way. The music starts playing a little more ominous, and so she's just like, turns out nothing. It's just him. But he has his signature cigar there, and just that, he has that William Castle smile and everything. But the funny thing, because I've always read and heard and whatnot, and this is speculation. You don't know if it's true or not. But they always said he was always he always wanted to be Alfred Hitchcock. He was the poor man's Alfred Hitchcock. Whatever way you want to phrase it there. But it's like the one time he broke through. You know what I mean? Because Hitchcock has always been up here, always. Even when he got shitty reviews for whatever, it didn't hurt him any. His next movie's still gonna be up here. So I mean, it wasn't like his reputation was damaged or anything. But it's William Castle was always considered, B monster movie, B haunted house movie director. He was more of a carnival barker, if you will, and I think he was a former carnival barker, so whatever. But he was always down here. So I kind of get that sense of yay for him, because he did break through. He did fucking finally make that that masterpiece of a film. So kudos to him. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, because like I said, for years, I mean, I've seen William Castle movies, and don't get me wrong, I love 13 Ghosts, and I love House on Haunted Hill and whatnot, Tingler and whatever. But to see his name attached to this, this awesome fucking movie that is clearly not like any other William Castle produced film ever, I don't know, it's pretty cool. And I guess the last thing I'll talk about is just from watching it just second ago. I love the soundtrack to this, and I don't even know who did it. I'm not gonna look. I'm really not gonna look at all. But it had a very 1960s jazzy feel. You get that in a lot of Hitchcock stuff too. You had a little bit of especially during a Rear Window, they would have a little bit of a jazz soundtrack or whatnot. And I like that. I kind of miss that. I wish we had more of that today. But maybe jazz is dead. I don't know. But the scene where she is, because it wasn't throughout the entire soundtrack, but where it's most noticeable is whenever her old doctor, kind of screws her over and calls up the Satan doctor. And, of course, the Satan doctor and, her husband are bringing her back. She drops her purse. As they all bend down to help her pick it up, she fucking bolts for the elevator. And, that swinging kind of fucking jazzy tune kicks on. And I love it. I'm just I don't know, I miss those kind of fucking soundtracks. I got a lot of, especially even B movies had that kind of, the Dennis Hopper, Night Tide had that kind of a, tune to it. I like that. We need more of that. This was remade as a TV, I don't know if it was a miniseries or if it was a TV movie.
I think there's a movie coming out.
Well, no, they already did it. It had, the black chick, Zoe something. She was in Star Trek. Anyway, but yeah, it's, I don't know if it's a TV movie or if it was a TV miniseries. But either way, they did a remake. I have yet to see it. I don't know, so I can't really vouch for it. It'd be hard to come close to this. I mean, I wouldn't even expect, if I'm watching, I wouldn't expect it to come, close to this. But, so yes, and now this is the one I'm going to throw out there. I highly recommend, I think everybody should watch this. But I can't guarantee if you're going to like it or not. Just because of that old adage, it's a horror movie with no horror in it. Like, it literally is more of a character study. It's more drama. I'm not gonna lie to you right now. I mean, it's in my horror section, and it belongs in the horror section. But the pacing is definitely drama, like flat out fucking drama. But it's awesome. Like, it literally does. I mean, the time flies by on it. Like I said, I don't know how long it is, and it doesn't feel like it's that long. Yeah, like 2 hours and 16 minutes. So. Bam! It flies fucking by. It went by quicker than Doom, and Doom was like the same length, so Christ. So yeah, great performances all around. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'll come out and say it right now. I'm not ashamed to say it. I think I'd play ball with the Satanists. I think I'm in. I'm fucking in. Like, they're just like, you know, we need to. So if Satanists come up to me and they're like, we're gonna have Maya get raped by Satan. You're getting raped by Satan. I'm just saying. I'm getting ahead. I'm gonna get like a new. My YouTube channel's gonna go through the roof. I'm gonna get like successful, and then you'll be the mother of the Antichrist. High five.
Wow.
She ain't gonna play ball. She's gonna run the deal for me. I'll be the asshole husband who's just like so cold and withholding, but happy to hang out with the neighbors every chance I can. So yes, Doom. You can probably pass on that. Rosemary's Baby. Fuck, if you have, I mean, I'm sure anybody who's watching my channel right now, you have seen this. There's no way you haven't. But if you haven't, Jesus Christ. Check it out. Like, seriously, it's awesome. In my opinion, whatever, you know, water that holds, better than The Exorcist. Like, I know Exorcist is everybody's, oh God, it's fucking awesome. No, this is way better than The Exorcist, in my opinion. I can watch this over and over again. Exorcist I watch maybe once every few years, so. Alright, so on behalf of my lovely girlfriend Maya, I'm the movie Phantom, and we're